Steve, this is one issue that Daniel Andrews will not be able to spin his way out of.
Yes, Shari, I think this might finally be the nail in the coffin, and there'd be a lot of Victorians who'd be very happy about that. I think a couple of the points you made there were outstanding, and I particularly think the fact that the Commonwealth Games is an international sporting event and that the rest of Australia actually cares about the Commonwealth Games because of great efforts like Robert de Castella and Kathy Freeman and Grant Hackett and all of those magnificent athletes. That now means that the spotlight on the mishandling of the Victorian economy by this bloke is finally being looked at by people outside of Victoria. Now, I lived through the 6 lockdowns and the way that Andrews handled COVID. It was dreadful, it was awful, it was the worst in the world. But much of Australia didn't care because you weren't here. Now you can see how this bloke has mishandled his economy. We're paying $10 million a day in interest alone on the debt of Victoria, and Victorians are sick and tired of this bloke. But he was re-elected just last November. There's no doubt that what you said about the regions and getting votes in those regional cities was spot on. That's exactly why he decided to have a Commonwealth Games in the regions. But why else would you do it when you consider that in Melbourne you've got the MCG, Amy Stadium, the Rod Laver Tennis Arena, you've got Marvelous Stadium in Docklands, you've got a swimming centre that was built in 2006 for the Commonwealth Games. You've got everything you needed. So why would you do it? Other than to get votes. And
look, we don't even know if he's telling the truth. He hasn't been transparent about where the $6 or $7 billion figure came from. But if John Pesutto, the opposition leader, is right when he says that it's probably going to cost Victoria $1 to $2 billion just to get out of this contract, because they'll have to pay a compensation to the Commonwealth Games Committee, and the negotiations for that are already underway in London. Well, I mean, it could end up, and Daniel Andrews has committed $2 billion to the regions. I mean, for that amount of money, $4 or $5 billion, he may as well have had the games, but had them in Melbourne. And I'm going to come back to this topic later, because I do have breaking and exclusive news that a Senate committee is going to investigate this issue.